Hey everybody, and welcome to another
Legion Live.
Thank you. You like how I didn't prepare you to do that? I
Oh man!
The intro line. I wanted you to have a chance to do part of the intro line.
Well, thanks for letting me know.
That's it. All right, so let's throw up a couple little thingy things here to let people know what we're gonna do today. It's funny, there's always a delay between StreamYard and Facebook, so it takes a second for people to actually log in. So we're going to start wasting time for just a second before we actually jump into the content. That way people can get checked in. Let me open up the comments. Anybody that has anything to ask about the iOS stuff, make sure to put it in the comments. If you're watching the recording this on YouTube, it's not too late. You can list the recordings there as well. But if you're watching this actually live on a Tuesday, whether you're in YouTube or the Facebook land, comment your questions and we'll see if we can't answer them. And then before we actually start talking about iOS, Norm, any call to actions for our lovely followers?
No, I think one of the most important things we can explain right now, Tim, is what the hell is a dewey-do?
A dewey-do? Well, what was... It came out of my mouth, but I can't remember the context. What was he saying?
I have no idea. All I heard is dewey-do.
Look, man, I haven't had lunch yet. I need coffee.
All right.
It's been a long day. My brain's melting right now. So
I'll accept dewey-do.
Okay. It's dewey-do is like the command. The past tense is like did. Like okay. If it happened yesterday, then you did it. If you're going to do it tomorrow, then you're going to do it. All right. So, iOS. Norm, what does iOS stand for?
It's the iPhone operating system.
The iPhone operating system. So, the world of mobile is taken up basically by the Android operating systems and the iPhone operating systems. And the iPhone operating system is more like strict. They had iOS 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, where the Google or the Android system, there's like a bazillion of them, and Apple keeps a lot of things very, very, what's the word, like kind of under the hood. Like they don't tell people what's happening until they make updates. So last month at their big developers conference, they announced some new privacy changes with iOS 14, which is the current iteration, and will also be implemented in iOS 15, which is the next iteration. Norm, why are cell phones important to e-commerce sellers?
Well, first of all, and I think we've touched base on this, but most searches for product on Amazon are done through your cell phone. I think the last number I heard was over 60%. The purchase itself, the majority are done on desktops, but the actual search is done on your mobile. So pretty important.
It's I've been told that like it used to be that you had to put your products in a physical store display window, and now this is the store window. Everybody's holding the store window. So when it comes to introducing somebody to a product, an idea, ads, like cell phone is the key. So if you're not locking into people's eyeball space, so to speak, on cell phones, then you're missing a big opportunity to be able to sell products. Now, of course, if you're selling just on Amazon, you don't have to do anything crazy. You're running Amazon, optimization of PPC. You're showing up when they go to Amazon. But if you're trying to advertise off of a specific platform or marketplace, things like social media ads and Google ads and all that stuff is very, very key. So what's been happening is some of these like operating systems and digital marketing platforms been under scrutiny for not keeping people's data private, right? Like you're telling too much about us, right? This isn't private. And where that stems from is tracking. So Norm, can you give just a brief explanation without preparation of what tracking would look like, cookies, attribution, and,
sure.
and why that might even encroach on privacy a little bit?
Okay, so just to give you an idea, this is an example that actually happened to me. My sister was up in Alaska. She was going out to do something with bees, and she was talking about this hive or bee suit that she needed. And anyways, I was talking on my phone, but by the time I got downstairs, I don't know what network I was on, but all of a sudden, there it was, a bee suit. I've never searched for a bee suit. I've never wanted a bee suit. I have nothing to do with honeybees. I love honeybees. But anyways, all of a sudden something was tracking, and I don't know what it was, what program, probably through my phone. It was tracking me. But another way of doing this is through actual apps. So let's say you take a look at the Weather Channel app. You see advertisements running on there. Okay, so you see those are ads that are being tracked, and let's say through Facebook Audience Network, or it could be through DSP advertising. Now you're seeing them tracked. With this new regulation, or this new revision to the privacy of Apple and the new iOS, that's going to be taken away. So that's a big deal. And I don't know, Tim, if you know too much more about this, but it's kind of crazy about how the tracking, and I know it kind of went down a different rabbit hole, but we're using mobile apps, and unless they're an Amazon app, okay, like Amazon's still going to retain all their data that they have on all the sellers. They're still going to be able to use that on all their apps. So you're going to get all like quality insights and everything like that, and they'll be able to follow you. However, on any third-party app, that's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah. So basically, the app agnostic way to track. I don't remember the name. Maybe I could search it. It's some weird thing.
Yeah, sure. It's called the Tracking Transparency Prompt, ATT.
That's the new one. The old one was called something else. I can't remember. It was basically a number, right? So like you were attached to this like long sequence number, which meant anything going through your phone was that number. So
you're talking about the ADFA.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So essentially, if I'm on one app and I click on an ad saying I like beekeeping stuff, then it would tell all the apps Tim likes beekeeping stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it would communicate through iOS, through the main system, the main operating system of your cell phone. So all this communication was happening. So what Norm is saying is now you can still track app specific. Like you can track Amazon specific performance just to Amazon. You can track Facebook specific performance just to Facebook, but it means that link through the operating system is cut off. So essentially the main implications of this has, let me pull up my notes to make sure I don't forget any. It's going to change, and I won't say significantly decrease the ability, but I will say it'll change your ability to kind of effectively deliver ads to people based on their engagement, right? Because different points of contact are not being communicated to other platforms and other various traffic sources to tell them, hey, they're interested in this. So it's gonna change the way that it can track engagement. It's also going to change the ability for us to measure and report on conversions from some customers. Now, this is important because we have to know the performance of our ads, of our digital marketing ads, right? And what's happening right now is like if I click a Google ad and it takes me to Amazon and I buy it on Amazon, or let's change that. Let's make it more simple. If I click a Google ad to a Shopify site and I make that purchase on a Shopify site, I'll know that traffic came from that Google ad. But if Shopify and Google are not able to communicate through the iOS system because of this, change, we might not be able to actually gauge our true performance, right? Which is going to be tough. So it's going to affect the way that we can measure and report. It also means that it's going to significantly impact the way that we can target a specific audience, right? Because Norm, like, you want to explain what that means, audience targeting? We don't have to necessarily have a pixel or an email. We can do lookalike audiences and target these specific avatars. Can you explain that for a second?
Right. So I think we're talking about for example, the Facebook Audience Network. You can be very specific. You can drill down and be as broad as possible. You can take an audience and upload it and create your lookalike audience. I don't know enough about it, but I do know that it's going to be very hard to be as specific as it was. So, Tim, I mean, I really have to drill down and learn a little bit more about it to speak half intelligently about it.
No, you hit what I wanted you to, which is just that audiences are created and shared. So Facebook will create an audience and say, there's this type of person. Google will do the same thing. There's all sorts of third-party programs we can use, take an email list and say, replicate this, and replicate supposedly those avatars. But this iOS system is going to essentially stop any iOS users from being targeted through the audiences or from inputs and user interactions and things through the system. So it'll stop them from being able to be put into an audience. So it's going to significantly decrease the ability of those audiences. And then it's really going to affect, I think the last big thing, it's going to affect our ability to create budgets, right? Because we have budgets and we know our ROI. Hey, if I spend $5,000 today on ads, I'm going to get $14,000 in sales, right? That's not rocket science. It ain't rocket surgery to figure out. But if all these apps cannot any longer communicate with each other, then we're not going to be able to figure out, like I said earlier, the ROI, the performance, and therefore it's going to be super, super hard to actually build a budget and know what type of money we're going to have to invest in digital marketing on different platforms, marketplaces to get the desired results.
Tim, just a couple of numbers for you. So you were talking about the ADFA number, which is that unique identifier for every mobile phone. And I was reading that some of the stats, like right now, they think that that's going to drop off by about 70. I said the Canadian about. So the about 70%, and it could go as low as 10%. So from what you're targeting right now. However, one of the things we have to remember is you can opt out, right? But you can also opt in. So you still have that option. Like it's not doom and gloom. And one of the other stats that I read, and I'm not sure where I pulled this from, but they believe that DSP ads will only be affected by about 8%. Now, I have a hard time believing that, but according to, I think it was from TechCrunch. But anyways, they're reporting they think it'll be about a 10% drop, which is a surprise when I saw that. But the other thing too is, okay, so this is one of those things that's a curveball. Amazon is just doing this thing we talked about it yesterday, the referral program. Oh, wow, this is cool. And then Apple throws us a curveball. Well, life is about a curveball. What do? There's all sorts of other ways to get traffic, to get your list, to build your list. These are things that we've been talking about forever. Get that list. Start targeting people on your list. Even within Amazon, are you doing enough PPC? Are you doing proper PPC? Are you doing rebates or search, find, buy? I mean, if you have whatever risk tolerance you want, Amazon posts. There's all other ways to drive traffic to your listing. And, just to get over this hump.
And I think that this also just goes to prove that branding is important, right? Because we can't just keep getting by with really, really good and heavily optimized digital marketing ads and things like that. We're going to have to start getting more savvy about finding people where they want to be found, where they're going to engage with high conversion rates, so that people actually purchase, and that the platforms, marketplace we use prioritize us, but then also that they come back for more, right? So they engage via email lists, they engage in our social media, all that stuff we can still target them on. This just shows that some of the hacks and stuff that people use just to set up these crappy product funnels and target the world, some of that may be starting to slow down and throttle a little bit. But yeah, you made a good point. This isn't doom and gloom. It's not everything, and people can still opt into it. The new iOS 15, anybody that has iOS 15 or the new updates on their phone will automatically be opted out of all targeting ability. But there are ways you can ask people, hey, would you like to see this information? Hey, would you like to subscribe to this list? Yada, yada, yada. So you'll see that in-app start to pop up as the new iOS system comes out and people understand it better. So again, not doom and gloom, but it's important to just know what's going on in the space, because as things change, we have to change too.
Perfect. You nailed it, Tim.
Thanks. All right. Well, that was a more technical talk. A lot of times we don't get into the nitty gritty of all this stuff, but it's important. I was at a trade show last week, a fishing trade show in Orlando, and they had a whole lunch and learn session on how the iOS updates affecting digital marketing. This was not a digital marketing show. I'm like, man, if even dudes selling fishing rods got to figure this stuff out, it's pretty important, to all of us. So again, thanks guys for being on. We're coming up on the 15-minute mark, so we'll wrap it up, but make sure that you give us a thumbs up on this video. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you're sharing this and you're liking it on social media if you're watching live. And please, please, please head on over to the Private Label Legion Facebook group and join it. Free community. It's where we drop all of our content. Lots of really great folks in there. And if you want to get more heavily involved in group community, mastermind program, check out thecenturionleague.com, which is kind of the inner circle of the Private Label Legion. All right, Norm, any last words?
Ring that bell.
I hate when you say that crap.
Hey, Kelsey's taught me all this stuff.
See y'all later.